Cotswold Airport at Kemble in Gloucestershire. It's the UK's largest aircraft graveyard, with dozens of planes stored here awaiting their appointment with the scrapman. To put it simply, it's where old planes come to die. But that isn't necessarily always the case, because sometimes aircraft that come here get to move on and have a new life doing really, really cool things in somewhat of a reprieve, and that's exactly what's happening today to this upper deck from a British Airways Boeing 747. This is Golf Bravo Yankee Golf Alpha, a British Airways 747, and until 2020 it flew for British Airways, flying all around the world, and since then it's been parked up here at Kemble when British Airways retired them all. And yeah, it was awaiting its fate here and awaiting the scrapman here in Kemble. With the rest of the aircraft being salvaged to be sold as scrap metal, the upper deck was saved. Today it goes on one last journey up to Manchester, where she'll be preserved as an event centre and simulator, and I'll be joining her on her final journey. Now, as much as I would have loved to have been doing the ride up to Manchester on one of these beautiful Club World flatbed seats, unfortunately they didn't let me do that because it's attached to this lorry, you see, and they don't seem to like people riding on the trailer for some reason. I don't know, health and safety gone mad in it. But never mind, I've got to get up to Manchester to see this thing arrive later on today, and I've got to do it under my own steam. So yeah, I'm going to be racing this 747 the length of the country today, from here in Gloucestershire all the way up to Manchester. Now, of course, I'm going to need to keep an eye on the location of this thing as it moves the length of the country, and how else do you keep a track of your lost baggage and with a good old AirTag? So let's go and pop it inside. Let's look at this cabin, crikey. So many memories riding on the upper deck of the 747. I was very lucky to ride in this seat here quite a bit, actually. I'm just in front of the exit. This is 62k here on the aisle. It's going to be in much neater condition by the time it gets up to, or when it gets to Manchester, because they're using it as an events conference centre as well as a simulator. But I've got to put my AirTag somewhere. Let's have a walk through. Isn't this incredible? Oh, I found a Looter review.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Loo Review.
There's no lights, it's a bit dark in here. You can't really... Oh, still smells of the last person that was in here. Oh wow, they've even still got cups, look. Awesome. That's good, no expense spared. They've even left the paper cups when they retired it. Incredible, isn't it? But yeah, look at this, wow, toilet. And everything in there, wow. And the most important bit, of course, the flight deck, which it seems has its own toilet as well. Wow, I didn't know, how cool is this? The pilots get their own toilet, wow. There you go, 747. Pilot loo review, flight deck loo review even. And again, they've even left the paper towels and the paper cups and a bottle of soap there as well. Incredible. Just in case you need to wash your hands. Awesome. Right, let's get this AirTag dropped. Wow, on the flight deck of a 747. Wow. Where can I pop this then? I'm going to pop this in the pilot's cup holder. Right, just there. Hopefully it will still be there throughout the day and when it arrives off into Manchester. Right, I better get on the road because they're about to start moving this thing. Yeah, I need to see it leave and get up to Manchester in time to see it arrive. So yeah, let's get on the road. And if you're a fan of the Boeing 747, you can get your hands on my exclusive limited edition keychain made from the actual aircraft skin of a British Airways 747. It's available in my shop on noelphillips.com for a limited time only, so make sure you get yours before they're all gone. So here we were then on the start line for my great race the length of the country. As the final pre-departure checks were made on the 747, I started to wonder how on earth I was ever going to beat it by using public transport alone. I didn't have too long to think about this though, because fairly soon the lorry fired up to get on its way and the race was on. And there it goes. Off to Manchester. Right, I better get a wriggle on because I've got to beat it up to Barton. Let's go. Thank you to this week's video sponsor, HelloFresh, who always makes sure I've got everything I need to prepare a great meal for Rachel and the kids whenever I get back from a trip. Today I'm making a Thai-style pork rice bowl, which looks really healthy and delicious. HelloFresh sends you everything you need to make fresh, delicious and tasty meals. All you've got to do is follow the instructions, and they're so simple that even I can follow them. They make it really easy to plan your weekly meals. You just order your box on the website with the meals you want, and it turns up quickly with everything you need to make you feel like the next celebrity chef. The thing I really love about HelloFresh is that it makes you feel like you actually know what you're doing, turning even a former fast food addict like me into someone who can cook a delicious meal. And just like that, a nice, healthy, delicious meal cooked up for everyone. Let's get tucked in. HelloFresh are offering you 60% off your first box and 25% off your next 8 boxes when you use my promo code NPhillips60 at the link in the description. That's promo code NPhillips60. First stop today was to Kemble train station, and I blagged a lift to the station with the new owners of the 747, who were following it up by road and posting Instagram updates along the way. I'll see you in Manchester. Okay. Alright, bye-bye. Right, the Kemble railway station. First stop, and I've got to get a train from here to Cheltenham. I've just had a notification from Apple, by the way, to say I've left my Boeing 747 behind. First time that's ever happened. Ah, great, no trains between Swindon and Gloucester. Where's Gloucester? Are we going between Swindon and Gloucester? And my train does stay on time. As I got to the train platform, the 747 was already causing chaos as it wound its way through Gloucestershire.
BBC Radio Gloucestershire traffic and travel news. Motorists being advised that this morning an abnormal load's going to be escorted from Kemble Airfield. Roads policing staff escorting an aircraft fuselage, which is 5.8 metres wide. It's travelling from Kemble Airfield on the A429. They are expected to cause some problems on the roads. Police advising people to use alternative routes where possible.
Meanwhile, I wasn't causing any problems at all as my first train arrived to take me up to Cheltenham.
This is Kemble.
Right, first train, let's go. Alright then, so on the move from Kemble, and the 747 is on the move as well. It's just working its way through Kemble town, not too far away at the moment. They do have a bit of an advantage in that they are going straight up the motorway from here, in Gloucestershire up to Manchester, so theoretically they've got quite an easy run, whereas I've got to change trains like however many times to get up there, and then somehow get my way across to Barton Airfield. But that advantage though is kind of slightly going to be removed a little bit because they can only travel at up to like 40 miles an hour. They're a wide load going up the motorway. They've got police escorts and the works. It's not a sort of vehicle that you can travel up at like 70 miles an hour up the motorway, unfortunately. So they're going to be going very, very slowly and very steadily all the way up. So hopefully we can keep up with them on the train, but we will find out. We're already delayed. I've just been stuck at a red signal for ages at Kemble, but we're moving now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get to Cheltenham Spa and make the next train on time.
It wasn't long before the 747 had left the town and was already picking up speed along the main roads heading towards the M5.
Alright, so we're almost at the M5, nearly in Cheltenham now. The 747 is also nearly at the M5. It's neck and neck right now. They are just approaching the M5 from the other side. We're coming from the west, they're coming from the east. So yeah, right at this moment in time, it's very, very neck and neck, but I've got a train connection to make in Cheltenham, so they're going to get ahead a little bit, I think, in Cheltenham. So we'll see what happens when we get there.
As it turned out, by the time I got to Cheltenham, the 747 was already making its way along the M5 towards Worcestershire.
Alright, Cheltenham, or Nam, Cheltenham. Let's see if we can get a train heading further north now. What we got? There's one to Birmingham New Street in about 20 minutes, that'll do. What platform? Platform 2. At this platform, even better. Time to nip for a wee, and then next train.
As my next train pulled into the station, the 747 was now getting well ahead, making rapid progress along the M5.
Alright, that stop at Cheltenham has cost me, unfortunately. The 747 is now, seems to be quite a way ahead. He's up near Tewkesbury on the M5, 7 miles north of here actually, according to Find My. So yeah, that's where he is. Hopefully we can catch up with him now. We're on this train up to Birmingham. I think it only stops in like a couple of places on the way up to Birmingham, so fingers crossed we can get at least catch up with him and maybe get past him a little bit as we head up towards Birmingham.
As I cracked open the snacks and relaxed, we were now finally picking up some speed.
So they may have been ahead of us slightly there, by about 10 miles or so. But we've got speed on our side now and we're tanking through the countryside here. I'm hoping in a minute that my map will update and show me a little bit ahead of where they are with the 747 as it trundles its way up at 40 miles an hour up the M5, causing chaos in its wake. And I've got a nice chilled out train ride instead.
Despite travelling at around twice the speed of the 747, rather annoyingly I didn't seem to be making much progress on catching it up, as every time we stopped in a station we lost valuable time.
So from what I can see so far, they are 3 miles ahead of me at the minute on the M5. I'm one side of Bromsgrove, they are the other, so it's very, very close. May just catch up with them, but then I've got this connection in Birmingham, so who knows what's going to happen.
As I pulled into Birmingham New Street Station, it was now neck and neck as the 747 was winding its way around the outskirts of Birmingham. What's more, I only had 10 minutes to make a super tight connection here at New Street Station.
Alright, Birmingham New Street. I've got to get a train to Manchester from here. Where am I looking? Let's have a look. Platform 3, and we're on platform 9. So, I think I've got to be that way. Platform 3, where the hell is platform 3? Oh, I hate this station. I've got all these weird like lounge things that you have to go through. I've got to go out the ticket barrier and back in again. Oh. Right, platform 3. It's around there. Okay, let's go get on the next train.
Stafford, Stoke-on-Trent, Macclesfield, Stockport and Manchester Piccadilly.
Right, made it on board. Next stop, Manchester.
As I pulled out of Birmingham, Team 747 were once again starting to pull well ahead.
Alright, so made it onto the train to Manchester, and they are looking at the tracking. They're about 10 miles ahead of me now on the M6. They're 10 miles ahead of us at the minute as we roll out of Birmingham, so we'll see if we get past them. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And then actually get to film them coming in the other end. And of course when I get to Manchester, I have to have the next problem of the trip, which is getting from Manchester Piccadilly station to Barton Airport, which is like out in the middle of nowhere.
As my train approached the M6 near Stoke-on-Trent, I saw a welcome sight on the motorway.
Alright, we just passed the M6 and it was stationary traffic, so either that's behind them and they're causing loads of problems, or that's in front of them and they're stuck in it, which is brilliant.
As it turned out, they were stuck in it, giving me a great chance to overtake and finally make some headway.
Right, so an update on their Instagram of the 747 making its way north. They are stuck in traffic on the M6 near Stoke-on-Trent. We have just gone through Stoke-on-Trent, so this is how close it is right now. So they've caught up a little bit and now they're stuck in traffic again. Yeah, who knows, it's going to be a tense and a very close one, because I've still got to get to Barton from Manchester Piccadilly station when I get up to Manchester, so I've no idea how I'm going to manage that yet. I've not even looked at that. To be honest, didn't think that we'd get this tight. I was now almost in Manchester, but the bad news for me was that the traffic on the M6 had eased up and the 747 was once again on the move. What's more, with the train now hitting red signals left, right and centre, they were catching up fast.
Now arriving into Manchester Piccadilly, our last and final call for this service.
Alright, Manchester Piccadilly station in Manchester. Almost there. I am reliably informed that the 747 is currently 20 minutes away from Barton Airfield. And the bad news is that I am also 20 minutes away from Barton Airfield, so now I've got to find a way to get there as soon as possible from here in Manchester Piccadilly. I'm thinking I might just grab a cab. That might be the quickest option. Not the cheapest, but it'll be the quickest if we want to try and beat the 747 to Barton. Right, there's loads of taxis out there, that's a good sign. Hello mate. Can you take me to Barton Airport, please? Barton Airfield. Barton Airfield, yeah, it's out past Trafford Centre out that way. I can direct you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's not the main airport. So it's M30 7SA. Alright, so they're about 15 minutes away now from Barton Airport, so fingers crossed we'll make it in time. Hopefully the Manchester traffic is kind to us today as we ride in our little taxi across Manchester. This is going to be so tight, honestly. It's too close to call whether or not either side's going to win. I thought I would comfortably win this. I have to say, I thought there would be no contest that a train going at 120 miles an hour would beat a lorry doing 40, but it seems that it's a lot closer than I actually thought. So yeah, who knows? Let's see if we get to Barton. And fingers crossed when we get there, the 747 isn't already there. That's yeah.
As we got closer to Manchester City Airport, the crowds were growing in anticipation of seeing the 747's arrival. I, on the other hand, was still stuck in traffic in Manchester city centre.
This traffic is absolutely crazy. Just stop-start all the way out. And they're closing in all the time. They're coming from the easy side, they're coming up the motorway now, and I think they're free of traffic as well on the motorway, so who knows. And my tracker stock was updated as well for some reason, I don't know why. I can't even see where they are on the map.
As I finally arrived at Manchester City Airport, I'd got no idea whether or not I'd won the race or whether the 747 was already here.
Thanks a lot, see you later. Bye bye. Right, we've made it to Barton. Let's see if we can head round. Let's see if we've beat the 747. Let's go and have a look.
This was it, crunch time. As I headed for the hangar that would be the 747's new home, it was clear the race was already over. The question was, would I find a 747 waiting for me?
We've made it. We've beaten a Boeing 747, albeit on the back of a lorry, all the way up here. Awesome. Right, I wonder where they are. Should be here by now.
It didn't take long to get my answer. I'd arrived with just minutes to spare before the 747's arrival.
Alright, we said goodbye to the 747 down in Kemble, and now we're saying hello to it again up here in Manchester. My AirTag's still in there. Better go and get it.
For now though, there was just one more job remaining. To get the 747 into its new home here at Barton Airfield. The 747 had made it to her new home. With a bit of help from some forklifts, she settled into her new hangar, where even in retirement she'll continue to serve the community. Now called The Deck, she'll be the UK's first publicly accessible 747 simulator, as well as being open to the public for events. This 747 is living proof that even in retirement, A 747's work is never truly done.